What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So today we're going to talk about a few different things. The one thing I want to talk about is the negotiations, and this is one of those "I told you so" things. So we'll talk about that, and then we're also going to talk about the stimulus check, the lack of stimulus checks in both proposals that are in front of us, and the disappointment in that. So that's what we're going to talk about. And I will put out a video later today, just giving you kind of a recap of the stimulus package, the stimulus update, with talking about the jobs numbers and all that. But I want to do this video separate because this is going to be more of just my opinion in this whole situation and how disappointed, I'm going to be honest with you, how disappointed I am in how things are going. When it comes down to it, even though we might be close to a stimulus package, I'm very disappointed in how this whole thing has evolved into what we're looking at right now. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. Okay, so let's talk about this. So we see Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. They had their first negotiations or their first talk yesterday. And this should have happened a long time ago. And this is one of the things that really frustrates me when it comes to this whole situation, because we saw Steven Mnuchin, Mark Meadows talking with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, when all along the legislators needed to be talking with each other. And so now we at least have them talking with each other about another stimulus package. And this is the way legislation works. It doesn't work the other way, because now you have the White House getting involved when realistically the White House is the executive branch, and then the legislative branch, they should be doing the negotiating. So we should have the Senate, the leader of the Senate talking to the leader of the House so they can come together, figure out what's the best proposal that's out there and vote on those in both the Senate and the House. That's the way it works. That's the way it should be working. And so now we're at least seeing them coming around to talking with each other about the next stimulus package. Now, that's the good part. That's a good thing that they're talking. And Mitch McConnell seems to think that the talk was promising. It was going somewhere, which is good. But I'm very disappointed in the fact that we see two proposals in front of us. One from Mitch McConnell, doesn't have stimulus checks. One from the bipartisan group in the Senate, doesn't have stimulus checks. And Nancy Pelosi is on board with the $908 billion bipartisan proposal without stimulus checks. And this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem for me because I've watched this whole debate from May 15th when the HEROES Act was passed by the House and sent over to the Senate, and it didn't go anywhere from that point, with the essential worker pay that was in the HEROES Act that mysteriously they stopped talking about and just went away. And now you don't even hear about it. And you say essential worker pay and people look at you like, what are you talking about? Because that's how quickly these politicians forget about things. And now we're seeing the same thing happen to stimulus checks. Now we're seeing a situation where politicians aren't talking about stimulus checks anymore. You had the president talking about stimulus checks. You had Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, even Mitch McConnell was talking about stimulus checks. And now, stimulus checks, what are those? And it's really sad that our politicians are looking at this whole situation and they don't see the need for stimulus checks. And at first I was saying, okay, Nancy Pelosi, she's jumping on board with the $908 billion. It's a framework. We're going to build from there. But now you're hearing Nancy Pelosi say $908 billion. That's the number that we're going to go with right now. So if the $908 billion, if that's a number that you're going with, then you're not adding anything to that. You're not adding an additional $300 billion for another stimulus, more stimulus checks for the American people. We even heard President-elect Joe Biden yesterday say that $908 billion, that's the package that he is hoping gets passed. So at this point, we're not looking at another stimulus check. That's just the reality. And it's sad. It's really sad because, like I said, PPP funding has been any package that's come through. We've heard about PPP funding in proposals. The CARES Act had PPP funding. They even did an interim bill with PPP funding. So when it comes down to it, businesses have gotten money. But when it comes to the American people, $1,200, that's it. Nothing more. And the biggest problem with this, and businesses should be upset as well, because now if we do get another package passed without stimulus checks and it has PPP funding, these businesses will get money, and that's good. And at some point, we're going to get to a point where the stay-at-home orders will expire and people will start getting back out and spending money. But a lot of these businesses are really going to struggle, even though they got PPP funding. Why? Because the average person doesn't have money to spend at a restaurant or go to an amusement park. They're not even thinking about that. They're thinking about keeping their lights on and paying their rent or their mortgage. They're not thinking about going for entertainment purposes, going to these different establishments. They're not thinking about that. However, if you did give them additional money, a stimulus check, well, then they would consider using it. They might use it now. They might wait, take a vacation later. That's going to help businesses. But now the politicians are looking at it like, no, we're going to forego on the stimulus checks for right now. Maybe Joe Biden, when he becomes president, we'll have another package, and that package might not happen. It might not happen. We don't know. We know that people need money now, and if they don't get money now, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, 2-3 months down the road. We saw how hard it was for them to even come to a conclusion in December. Okay, we're talking May. That's when the HEROES Act was passed by the House. That was May 15th. We're now in December. And now they're coming around and saying, okay, yeah, I think we do need to get together and get something done. So this could take a long time. If we're looking at another stimulus package after this, we could be looking at June or July. And so it's really disappointing when you look at this situation and there's no stimulus checks in this proposal. It's hard to take. It's really hard to take. And I know politicians, they like to say things so they can get reelected and all this. But this is this is one of those situations. We're in a crisis. You need to help everyone. You really need to help everyone. And if that means an additional $300 billion that you need to add to this proposal that we have out there, then that's what needs to happen. And I saw Nancy Pelosi earlier in a press conference, and she was getting a little upset because the whole half loaf, full loaf, she used that term basically saying that she wants the full 2.2 trillion. She doesn't want to take half a loaf. And so a reporter asked her, is this taking half a loaf? And she got really upset with her response. But the reality is that reporter was right. You're taking half a loaf. And you're hoping that we can get something done in the future with Joe Biden. And I understand now you have a different president coming in. So that means that you'll have a little more leverage, but you still have the Senate to work with. And if Mitch McConnell remains the leader of the Senate, guess what? He's going to purposely not want to do anything, just like he has before. So this is a win. This will be a win for him if he can get this pushed through, even if it's a $908 billion, even if it's not the one that he wants. It's a win for him if he can get this through and still remain the majority leader of the Senate, because he knows from that point on, nothing else will get done. We're not looking at anything else when it comes to a stimulus package, unless it's an executive order, and that's it. So this is one of those situations where I am very disappointed in how our politicians are handling this. Look at other countries. Look at how they're handling the situation and how they're giving reoccurring payments to citizens, how they're taking care of their citizens. We're not taking care of our citizens. We might be taking care of businesses to some extent, but we're not taking care of the people. I mean, it's like pulling teeth to get $1,200. And now it looks like the additional $1,200, we're not even going to see that. So I want to know what you guys think about this whole situation, because like I said, it's really disappointing for me to even talk about this, because it's one of those situations. And I've been following this ever since the CARES Act. I've been following this, and you guys know, all you need to do is check my videos. I've had daily videos about this, and it's really disappointing just to see the evolution from essential worker pay, no essential worker pay, stimulus checks, no stimulus checks. I mean, it's amazing. This whole process has just been, it's been crazy. And now we have politicians that have amnesia, and they just, stimulus checks, what are you talking about? So I want to know what you guys think. So let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.